Hello, hello, hello. Merry Christmas to everybody. Happy holidays. Happy season greetings, all of that stuff. Just to confirm, can you guys hear, see me okay? All of that. And can you hear and see Brendan's? Brendan, say hello.
Hi, it looks so good, Kathy. The room looks so good.
So, can you guys tell this is like a new studio? You guys may have noticed the last couple of weeks I have not been putting, the weekly readings up and stuff, mostly just because of the fact that I've been really working on this room and, trying to get ready for Christmas and stuff. I tell you, I have an actual studio. I'm going to show you guys in a second. I'm going to take the camera and kind of do a 360 here. But this is like, I've been wanting this office, this room, for so long now. And I think I finally feel like I'm at home in this room. Like I feel really good about it. And I mean, the nice thing is, worst case scenario ever, if I ever moved or whatever, I can take this concept into a new room. Like, you know what I mean? It's not the space. It's just the matter of, how I put it together. And it just feels so much like me. Hello, everybody. Hi, guys. I see you saying hi. Hi, Denise. Hi, Catherine. Hi, William. If I missed anyone, I'm so sorry. So I'm going to show you guys just a little, again, like a little 360 of the room. So this is the new backdrop first. Now let's just hopefully we'll see how this goes. So we're going to take this. I can watch on the camera. So that would be the door to the room. Up here, that picture is one that my daughter actually painted for me, which was wild because she put two snakes in the picture. I don't know how close you can see it. Funny thing is, I now own two snakes. So I thought that was kind of, you know what I mean? There's all of my cards. And you can kind of see. So those tarot cards that I have up on the wall, I don't know how, it's not coming in very clear because, camera, whatever. But those are actual tarot cards that are on the wall. And that painting there at the back wall that's for my daughter too. And closet, all of that. Here's Brandon. I'll show you Brandon. There's Brandon.
Oh,
nice. So those tarot cards that I have on the wall, there's actually a story behind them. And if you're into tarot, this is you'll recognize the name. It's Cyril Marchetti. He is my ultimate tarot creator. I mean, he was like my first deck, everything. And so this was years ago when I first, I wouldn't say I was first into tarot, but, when the internet, I guess, was kind of like, more abundant, I guess. And I saw these cards, and this was back when, JPEGs, like if you went online and you tried to print a picture, it would come out all pixelated and kind of a mess. And so I found his email address and I messaged him. I just randomly sent an email to him and I said, look, I really love your tarot cards, but I'd like to put them on my wall. I'd like to make 8x10s, but I can't do that because of the pixelation. And he's like, what cards would you like, honey? He goes, I'm so honored that you did that. You want to put these on the wall. So these are at least 16 years old. Because I think I did. No, I'm going to lie. That was a lie. I'm going to say 15 because my son was just born at the time. So he's 15 now. So but he was still just a little baby. And I remember holding him and I'm typing this email to send to him. Right. And he was just a little guy. So yeah, I've had these pictures ever since. And I think I actually still have his original email somewhere in my, email folder. But yeah, I was just so honored that he responded within like minutes. Like it was like, I sent the email, he responded back and I was just like, yes, like, oh my God, I was meant to have these. And it just,
you were meant to, yeah.
I was, yeah. And they've been one of my favorite, decks since then. So I hope you guys like it, but I'm so excited to now again, be in this place. And So here we go. I'm so
It
excited.
looks great. It's
Thank
not
you.
too dark or anything, and the lights that are on you, it makes you pop, and the background behind it complements it well. It looks great.
Yeah, all my organites and stuff, and it makes you want to create now. Like I feel like I want to create, and it was funny because I actually told my daughter popped by really quick yesterday, and I had to show her the room, and I said, it's like all of a sudden you walk in and you feel inspired, like you feel like you want to have those creations come out of you now, and it's just so exciting, right? Whereas before, I was telling Brandon just before the show, I said, if I had showed you guys, like all you guys thankfully saw was that little corner that I was in, and but if I had shown you, you would have been like, oh, that's like that, because I was like in my room, I was stuffed in this corner, and it was like, oh my frick, like this is ridiculous. I had to crawl over everything to get to my computer.
Well, after this year, I think people would understand. We've probably seen all sorts of weird Zoom calls and videos.
Oh yeah.
After this year,
people trying to find space in the bathroom. Here's my selfie. Right?
You should have saw me trying to record my hypnosis track. I had to do it in my walk-in closet because it was the only thing that would absorb sound. Even though I have like a soundproof little office, my office is right next to a busy street, so you could hear the cars because my microphone is that good. So I'm like in the closet recording hypnosis, like, oh gosh.
Oh my God. Speaking of Brandon's meditation tape, Brandon, if you have a link to it, could you put it into the comment box, or maybe we can, give them a link to it. This meditation tape, guys, it is so relaxing and so soothing. And I was just so blessed to have been able to listen to it, and been one of the first out there to listen to it. And I tell you, this is amazing. It's very transformative. Maybe you want to tell them about it a little bit, Brandon.
Yeah. So, I was really guided to help people to release anxieties and fears, and to really just kind of dig under the surface is what's there. But I wanted to use hypnosis to do it, and it was all kind of brought to me through a meditation that I was in, and it was like a voice was speaking to me saying that I needed to make this, and when I made it, the whole thing was channeled. So you can actually listen to it on my YouTube channel. Just click on my name and go to my channel, and I have a clip of it. It's like a full body scan, I believe the name of the video is. And that way it gives you like a little snippet of it. It's like a 10-minute clip, 11-minute clip. But the full download is available for purchase on my website at thedreamteacher.com. But go ahead and just listen to it on my channel first on YouTube. And that way you can see how you vibe with it.
It is. It's truly really, it's so good. It's so good. It helped me. Excuse me. Although it did put me into a deep sleep as well. So I'm just going to give you guys a heads up on that. It wasn't something like, I'm one of those people that listen to a meditation or whatever, and I'm like, oh, I'm out. I'm done. I'm out. So just so you guys know, just giving you a heads up on that.
That's how it is for me. It absolutely can put you to sleep 100%.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's called self-hypnosis, total body relaxation.
Yeah. Hello, Spiritual J. Hi, Polly Free. Thank you guys for coming on. So we were, during the week, we got an opportunity to really talk about this year and the developments that have happened, not so much in the political sense or anything like that, but more in the synchronistic sense, and people kind of coming to light, people coming into their place or starting to get awareness of the things of where they're heading to. So we were talking about it during the week, and Brandon and I would like to do more of a prediction show next year. I'm going to let Brandon talk about our show for this week, but leading up to it, I just, one of the things is that, again, we were talking about synchronicities, and I feel like this year has been very synchronistic in some ways. Like, it's really allowed us to look into our shadows of who it is that, the things that need to be truly released, the things that of who, of where we're going, of what we're coming into, of what it is that we're starting to focus on, rather than, I don't want to say petty, because, at the time it doesn't feel petty. It doesn't feel, low vibration, but I do feel that it is a sort of a sense of coming up to the surface in order for us to be aware and have that observation of it, and to allow us to release it. And we were talking about, how things, if we allow spirit to guide us, and we just sort of take those opportunities that are presented to us, we really do get that sense of synchronicity, throughout our lives. And one of the things we were talking about is there's something that Brandon wants to head into and throughout the year, and how things had led, him to that adventure. But one of the things that I was talking about is, like, even doing the organites, like when I made the organites, when I started creating the organites, I realized at some point throughout the year that I was really led to this, even from childhood, because my father was an industrial arts teacher. So if you don't know what that is, that's like construction, all of that stuff. So being kind of a bratty teenager, let's just say that I was, if I was one of those kids that put a hole in the wall, to slam your door or whatever, instead of getting in trouble, my father would appear at my door with plaster, paint, all of that, and present it to me and say, there's the hole, you fix it. You hear the netting, everything. That was it. The fiberglass, all of that stuff. Like, here it is, you fix it. If I did something to the floor, you fix it. You figure it out. Like, this is your job, right? So I was never punished or grounded. It was just, I wasn't leaving the house until I somehow figured out how to fix this monstrous creation that I had done. And that even came into, like, to some degree, cars. It came into construction. If I wanted, like, let's say I wanted a bookshelf or whatever, here's the wood, figure it out. And, there were some things obviously he helped me with, or he would stand back and kind of, do the, well, maybe you should try it this way. And that really got me into renovating and like for myself. And then, as I got older, I got into aesthetics, and I've talked about that before. I did aesthetics for like 25 years, but I did nails. I actually specialized in nails. Well, what do you use for nails? You use acrylic, you use fiberglass, you use gel, basically all the things that I had grown up with in terms of building, repairing, renovating, fixing, a lot of fixing, all of that. And then, so when I started actually making the organites, the whole process for me became so natural. It was just a part of me. And I had already known how to blend things. I already knew, the ratios. I already knew about the drying time. I already knew about how to put materials in and do creations. Like, I've made my own, most of my house is renovated by myself. And I've never, except for electrical, I've never had to really, and plumbing, but I don't do plumbing. But everything has been done by me. I've never had to hire anybody for that, because of the fact of everything that I've learned. And when we look at that and we take that and compare it to, like, relationships, careers, jobs, future developments, whatever it is, we've been guided throughout our life. And this is something that, when we take a look back, if you're guided towards something, or maybe even perhaps, like I said, within relationships, sometimes if we're not learning the lesson from a particular relationship, and it doesn't mean that a relationship has to end, there might be an evolution in it, something that you have to release, let's say, whether it's jealousy or envy, or maybe fear, or, self awareness or self-esteem issues within yourself in order to better that relationship, or again, whether it's career or jobs or whatever it is. And we are guided, but it's also listening to the synchronicities that come in. Do you have anything to add to that, Brendan? I'm kind of bad.
Well, that synchronicity, I think that's really the key point here. I think a lot of people have found out this year that they have been following the synchronicities of other people, or what other people should, what they're suggesting or saying that people should be on. But now, I think us here in this little group, that we've kind of created, I think most of us follow, the energy of our own synchronicity. And I think essentially that is what it means to be human. I think that's even written in the Bible, that they kind of allude to. It's like, you need to follow your inner guidance, your inner self. Do not follow false idols. Don't follow other people's ideas. Follow the beat of, your own energy, your own path, your own drum. And I think a lot of people have been forced to confront this within themselves this year, is that you need to follow what is good and instinctual in yourself. Follow your own synchronicity. Like we've talked about several times in the show recently, there's a lot of information that's out there, and you don't know what you can trust. And that's why it's so important to follow your instinct, your intuition, your own sense of synchronicity. And you do have it. And that's the thing about synchronicity and divine timing and harmony, is that it can easily be manipulated, because it messes with our 3D selves. Like, it messes with that mind. It's like, let's look at this for a perfect example. You're looking at social media and something pops up that you were thinking of buying, and you had searched for it before. That's a manipulated synchronicity when that advertisement comes across your screen saying, hey, you should buy this item because you searched for it before. That's a manipulated synchronicity. So it's so easy to manipulate that today. That's why it's so important to know what is in sync for yourself, your own heart, your own consciousness, your own connection with source. Like, I think that has been one of the biggest things. And that's why today I want to focus on, the lessons and things that we needed to learn over this past year, and really tapping into any of that shadow that might need to come out right now. So that way next week for the readings, what we can do is really dive into what is to come. We'll do like more of a prediction show for next week, and saying, this is where you're going to line up, this is where you're going to be, this is where you're going to see, feel, experience, who you're going to connect with, etc. But I want to focus this week, like you had said, Kathy, on what has gone on this past year. And if there's anything else that we might need to know, if there's anything that we need to be acknowledged or recognized for that we overcame this year. And to really make sure that we put a stamp on this final chapter of the year. I think we're all done with it. I think we're all ready to move on. So I think that would be a good way to close out our last show of the year.
I love that. And I'm not exactly sure how we'll do that. So I think what we'll do is we're going to ask people to put their names and their birth dates, and Brandon and I are going to tap into that energy. And we'll, so instead of the traditional, I guess, readings, I think taking a look, and again, seeing what it is that comes up, seeing what it is that is being presented to us for you to know on a personal level would be a really good, like Brandon said, a good way to end the year. And maybe even something just for you guys to focus in on throughout the week, just allowing that energy to surface, evolve, ascend, move forward. And I just wanted to say hello to JJ and It's Ya Girl. Hello, guys. Thank you for joining.
We got two JJs. We got Spiritual J. We got all sorts of J's in here.
Oh, maybe that is a theme. But yeah, so it is going to be just a little bit of a shorter show today. So I think we're only going to go, it's 1:30 my time, Mountain Time. I think we're only going to go till about 3 today, simply because, oh, and HK, hey guys. How are you? Okay, so what was I saying? This is
we got about an hour and a half.
Yeah, just simply, okay, so here's an interesting thing. So all along, I've always thought that Boxing Day was like an American thing. Okay, like your Black Friday, I thought it was Boxing Day. I thought this was like a huge thing in the States. I swear to God, I said to Brandon this week, I feel like I'm having a Mandela effect because of the fact that I could have sworn that Boxing Day was purely American and that we as Canadians picked this up and took it over or whatever we did with it. And you guys are like, nope, never heard of Boxing Day. Nope, that doesn't happen here. And I'm like, what the frick, guys? Okay. So it is our Canadian Boxing Day, and my son wants to go shopping, and because it's like sale day. So we are going to be doing that today. And then again, next week, we're going to be doing more of the predictions. And I'm so excited about this. I'm really excited about that. It's going to be so much fun. So, yeah. Denise, Boxing Day. So that is like, I guess, like your Black Fridays where everything is like super cheap for us. You know, things are like half price or whatever. Now, because we're technically where I am in Alberta, we're in a lockdown. So we can go to the mall and spread our germs all over the mall, but we can't have people in our house right now. Figure that one out. But anyway, so yeah, it's like your Black Friday, and it's my son's all like, oh, we're gonna go shopping. I'm like, okay. So we're gonna do that and, you know, spend some of his well-earned money. So yeah, so maybe we can open that up. I hope you guys had a great Christmas. You know, if you want, definitely put into the comments. I'd love to hear what you guys did. And oh yeah, we do have Cyber Monday as well. Denise, we actually have everything that you guys have. We kind of just apparently added Boxing Day to all of this. Black Friday, I think, is fairly newer to us, though. I want to say in the last 10 years, maybe less. We never really had the Black Friday thing. We never really had the Cyber Monday thing, but we've taken that as well. And plus, because we can shop online and shop American stores, you know, we still get that same concept, like we still get the same deals and all of that. But yeah, we have this Boxing Day, and it was like, well, it's actually, I'm not going to say Boxing Day. It's actually Boxing Week. So it really goes on for like maybe a week before Christmas, a week after Christmas. Sometimes we're like far into January, you know, stores just want to make sales. But usually Boxing Day is like where you can get the better deals. So yeah, it's lots of fun.
You'll have all sorts of sales up there. My goodness.
Well, they just want us to spend money, which I'm fine with, right? You know, yeah, I'm okay with spending money. I prefer making money, but you know, whatever, spending is okay too. You know, I'm okay with it. But you know, I actually, you know, there's this year, even though it's been difficult, you know, in so many ways, it's actually been such a blessing, you know, in some manner too. And it was funny because my son said to me the other day, he's like, you know, you don't need to get me anything. Like, I truly am kind of spoiled. Like you pretty much get me what I want and what I need anyhow. Like it's all good. And I mean, obviously that just about made me cry, but then, you know, everybody spoiled him anyway. And he was just so grateful yesterday. And he was just in such a, like, you know, he was just so appreciative of everything that he did receive. So I'm kind of like, okay, you know, I can't deny you this concept. Like, yeah. So, and also, okay, so one of the things, just make sure you guys that you are subscribed to the channel. Okay, so in order to receive a reading, you must be subscribed. So make sure you click that subscribe button, click the bell, click like on the video because it's really appreciated. And also too, you know, and we've talked about this before, please don't subscribe and unsubscribe. I'm going to also add in something. There is a little bit of karma in that. So, you know, that's something that if somebody's subscribing and unsubscribing, that might be something that you have to bear. It doesn't really, you know, it doesn't really land on me, right? Because of the fact that we are doing this, but it can be a bearing onto you. And you know, you have to kind of decide, is that the way I want to start the year, by subscribing and unsubscribing and getting something for free and all of that stuff. So basically we do ask for us, you know, to click subscribe, but it also does screw up the YouTube algorithm when they see people subscribing and unsubscribing. So if, you know, just keep that in mind, and we really appreciate it because we want to keep doing these videos for you. And the way to do that is to add to that subscription list. Okay. So, are we ready to open it up?
I think so. Since we've got limited time today, we should hop right into it, I think. So again, what we'll do is we're not going to take the formal questions like we have in previous shows since it's the end of the year. So put your first name and your date of birth in the chat. And then we will just kind of connect and tell you what we feel, what you need to know at this time. And then we'll go from there. And then next week is going to be fun. Next week is going to be all about the predictions, what's to come, what you can expect to see. I always like doing predictions at the very beginning of the year, just because it's a good way to, you know, exercise the muscles and maybe show off a little bit.
Right.
we can see over the year how things have come to play out. So, all right, perfect. Well, we've got lots of people already here. I guess we could say the list is officially open since everybody is already typing that information.
Awesome.
There. Spiritual J, you were up there first. Oh, there you go. Okay.
Yeah, she just put her birthday there.
Spiritual J after it's your girl JJ.
Okay.
Because it looks like she retracted the message.
Oh, Spiritual J did put her name and her birth date in there. So.
Yeah, but she had it up there first before everybody else. So I wanted to put her up there. It's just like she retracted it because maybe she didn't. Because I don't know if we like formally opened the room, but you know, we're all there. So we're good. Also, if it's not super clear, since everybody in every country does their dates of birth different, make sure that you have the clear month on your message there. So I'm just building the list now. I'm keeping it in order as you all submitted. So first up, we have It's Your Girl JJ from last week because we weren't able to get to that.
Right, yeah.
So I had said that I would keep that in mind. There was one other person from last week who I also said that to, but I don't remember.
I don't know if they're in here. I do remember which one you were talking about, but I don't remember their name.
Good.
Okay, yeah.
Okay. Well, if they pop in and you see that, make sure you let me know. Otherwise, if they let me know in the chat, that works as well.
Perfect.
And so first we've got It's a Girl JJ and then Spiritual J. And then I'll update the list here as I continue building it. So first, let's connect with JJ. JJ is Joni, 2nd of April, 1990.
1990?
Mm-hmm. So let's connect here with Joni, see what information comes through.
Okay, so Joni, this is what I'm feeling right away. I'm not sure exactly what it is presenting to me at the moment. I sometimes I'll start off with images. Sometimes it comes in words. The first thing that I'm actually connecting with you about is I really feel like the word nature is coming through. Something about nature, something about, I don't know why that is being presented to me. It almost feels like, I want to say, a forest of some sort, or woods, like nature of something. I don't know if that has any, if you can just confirm that in the comments, if that means anything to you. This is just a visual image of what I'm getting. Okay, and I'm also seeing a lot of green around you, which is really presenting to me something about your heart, the health. It's like I just feel an opening of some sort. I want to move away from, oh, okay, so she wants to move away from the city, so that makes sense. Okay, because that was the first thing I actually saw, was like this nature, and it was just, I don't know how to describe it, but it felt very at home, it felt very at peace, it felt very like connected. Now I'm actually, like I said, I feel like the heart energy, because there's a lot of green around your energy is what I keep getting. There's a lot of purple too, which for me, that really talks about the intuition, the third eye chakra opening up. It feels like there's a connection between the third eye and the heart chakra, like following. It feels like this year, just give me a second. I just need to listen to what I'm getting. I'm sorry. I just need to make it clear. There's been some sort of bond in here, this connection between the two. And it does truly feel as though it almost feels like your heart is opening, like more so than it has in the past. I don't know if this is connected to a particular person, place, thing, or anything like that. But what I'm getting here is I feel that a lot of times throughout your life, you really did follow to some degree your intuition, more so than maybe perhaps your heart space. Okay. What I'm actually getting here is like there seems to be that pulled together of the both. So it's not just your intuition, because I feel as even though your intuition can be very quite spot on at times, I feel that sometimes you didn't allow that heart energy to open up with it. So this is what I'm getting for you. It feels like that connection is starting to create a stronger bond for you. And you're now allowing yourself to be guided by both rather than just the one or the other.
That's key. That's key, Kathy, because I'm also picking up on that as well.
Right. Yeah. It feels like you're starting to allow yourself. It almost feels like there was a place of self-doubt in there in regards to maybe perhaps the heart space, which is why you use that third eye. But the third eye, even though the third eye can show you things and it can lead with your intuition, I didn't feel the strong connection between the heart. And so there was some self-doubt, I don't want to really particularly say lack of self-awareness. It just feels like more like a blockage of some sort. And now that you're allowing yourself to open up to it, I do feel like you're going into a different phase within your life. Keep that image of where it is. This is what I'm hearing, of where it is that you want to be, where it is that you want to move. You know, if you're wanting to move away from the city, I feel like you're drawing that towards you, like in a manifestation.
Such a beautiful message. I mean, that's absolutely the energy I'm picking up on as well. What Spirit keeps showing me for JJ for 2020 was that there was this sense of distance with the self, and it was like the physical body was here, but the consciousness was out in some other, far away area. And they keep showing me that there has been a bond, a communicated bond, even a consciously communicated bond that is opening up within the self, within Joni. And it is creating a stronger sense of self, or knowing oneself. That relationship seems really important for this year. So, and it looks like Joni is confirming that here in the chat, that it is something that Joni has experienced. And now I think having had that done, it's like you're going to be able to move into the next year with something that you might not have had for a very long time.
And looking into that shadow self of who you are, or what was trying to be brought up, was I'm trying to find the word, and it's probably such a simple, stupid word, but it's not coming to my head. But it was like, remove the self-doubt, open the heart, allow yourself to be broadened, right? And I feel like you had said, in the chat, there was some trauma there. Allow that to be released. I feel like some of it may come up, or it has come up, simply not to hurt you in any way, or not to bring you into a place of, reliving or devastation. It truly was to help you to release, in order for that not to block your future manifestations. Okay. So I hope that that's helped, honey. And thank you so much for watching us today. It's truly appreciated. Yeah.
All right. Thank you, Joni. All right, let's move on here. Just for those of you that are coming in late, we have opened the room. We're only going for another hour and 15 minutes. And we're doing readings specifically about a summation of your year, tapping into the things that you needed to learn, or anything that you still need to address or work through at this end of the year, so you can go into next year with some awesome openness, some good positivity, being in sync with yourself. This is why we're here, right, Kathy? We are here to help you become in sync with yourself. We are here to help you align the spirit, the mind, the body, the emotions. We are here to create that sense of alignment. That's our job. This is our purpose. We are here to help you to gain that portion of yourself, so you yourself are in harmony. We really shouldn't be called psychic advisor. We should be called harmony advisors.
I love that, right? Harmony advisors. Our goal,
harmonics.
Our goal is to help you become the better you, right? It's to fulfill your own purpose, to fulfill your own path, to fulfill that destiny, even if you're not particularly feeling the calling of it at this moment, to allow yourself to be open to the path that Spirit has, placed in front of you. And we all have that, and it's so prevalent for all of us, right? And that's what we want to help you with.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
I actually like this a lot. I really like this a lot.
Yeah.
All right. So let's see. We're going to go next. This is going to be Spiritual J. Jada, November 14th, 96.
Okay.
Scorpio.
Okay. Okay, Jada, what I'm getting here. Again, just give me a second, because we're doing things a little bit differently. It's a different way of tapping in. So I have to just really listen to what is coming through or being presented in some way. Okay, here's the thing, sweetie. I feel there's a whole mixture of things, I feel like, into one particular message for you. It's okay. How do I put this into a word? How do I put this into a sentence is what I'm trying to figure out. Okay, I feel externally, there feels to be a beauty with you. Okay, now I can only see little tiny pictures of you guys, so I don't truly actually know what you guys really look like, unless I really squint and make myself look quite funny. So but this is what I'm getting. However, what I'm receiving for you, Spiritual J, is something about this external beauty. I keep getting that it's time to explore that inner beauty that you have on top of the external beauty. This is what I keep getting.
Funny you say that.
Right? It just feels to me as though this inner part has been sort of neglected in a way. I feel that there has been part of you that, and I, the way that I say this isn't probably the way that I'm meaning it. Like, I don't mean that there's vanity or anything like that. Like, I'm not calling you vain by any means. I just feel that there's been a deeper recognition of your own external beauty, as opposed to that inner beauty that you truly carry inside of you. What I keep feeling from you, oh my God, see, this is the thing that I don't like, is because I always end up like turning into a big blubbermouth, right? Like, I keep starting, like, I'm going to turn into tears or something like that. The only reason I feel the spiritual Jay, because I was just reading this, that you said you get called ugly a lot. That is not from people that is not from people. That is, there is a sense of jealousy that is coming through. I'm known for my inner beauty. Opposite. Interesting. Because I'm actually getting the external. Like, I'm getting more of the external than I am with the internal. I do feel that you've dealt with a lot of jealousy, a lot of envy of some sort. It almost feels as though the people that have criticized your external features, there's been something that they've recognized in them that may have been something that, like a sense of desire of some sort that they've wanted, or it just feels like facial, even expressions or features of some sort that they've seen, that there has been like some sort of jealousy, or, like I said, envy or something like that. And it's hard to explain, but I keep getting it's to focus in on that inner beauty, because that inner beauty, when people recognize your inner beauty, it threatens people, is also what I'm receiving. I hope that makes sense. It almost feels as though you've squashed that a bit, simply because you've experienced some sort of backlash towards that. It's really hard for me to put into words. I don't know if, Brandon, if you're getting what I'm getting here.
It was for me, when you're tapping into the shadow, because I can feel you tapping into it. I can feel you're absolutely right with this dichotomy of internal versus external. What I'm being shown was that this year was the year to kind of be more conscious about this. Spirit is showing me that this has been a focus of internal sense of security. They keep showing me these internal views or perspectives, and that this internal security is supposed to start growing so that it matches the outside vibration as well. So I feel like that's exactly this transition that Jada is being forced to focus on with this year, is that, okay, I feel all of this internal stuff. How can I then grow it on the outside? Or how can it resemble something, outside of myself? And this is where I think your message comes through with other people, Kathy, is that other people have resonated and felt this internal sense of self with Jada, and then they superimpose, which is exactly what all people do, their own image onto that person. Yeah. And so with Jada, I feel that internal strength being a positive thing, and this is what people get jealous for. And then, of course, they're not going to say something about themselves and make themselves look vulnerable, so they're going to try to do whatever they can to Jada to make Jada feel vulnerable, because they are jealous of that internal strength. So I think you're picking up a lot on that shadow part, Kathy. Yeah. And I think with Jada, that shadow is, how can I make what I feel inside translate and other people to see it on the outside? And I think that's going to be the point of focus for the end of this year, beginning of next year transition.
And it's interesting because I was just reading some of the comments, and she had said that she was really bullied this year. And here's like, as you were talking and as I was reading, I just kept feeling like this poking, like poke, like somebody's trying to poke holes into your self-esteem, that beauty, that inner strength, that inner light that you have. I don't know if this is a collective or if this was one particular person, but it just feels as though poke. And it really feels like that reflection upon themselves, you know, as Brandon said, it's like they see that inner light and they're trying to diminish it, put it out, snuff it in some way. And I keep getting here, keep rising above. You know, if you have to block, if you have to delete, and you know, even if this is people that are close to you in some manner, if it's coming through some sort of channel that you know, there's a closeness within your heart to these people, it has to be extinguished, it has to be diminished. But I just keep feeling you rising. I feel like a lot of these things were brought to you as painful as they definitely can be, but they were brought to you to rise above, because I just keep feeling that core, that I want to say like the solar plexus, like starting to expand, starting to gain that higher ground, that higher recognition of your own true sense of self. And this is what that keeps coming through. So I hope that makes sense. And I feel like next year, once you rise above this, once you keep going, once you keep moving higher and above, you're going to really, really embrace all of this and be able to move forward like nothing's going to stop you. But we're, again, you know, next week we'll look more into predictions and stuff. So yeah, I hope that's helped.
I'm just updating here in the chat. We have some newcomers. We have a first timer here, somebody,
Yay!
Norm,
Hey,
who's
Norm.
never done anything like this before. So I think that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Jada, I just wanted to say to end here is that you really do have such an immense internal strength. Even connecting with your energy, I feel this security right in my gut. There is like this stableness. There is this. You would be like one of the first people, if you were like in my surroundings, environments, community, you'd be one of the first people I come to and be like, hey, how do I feel good? Should I do this? You know, how do I get better? And I think you are going to be able to translate this.
There's a lot of honesty coming through with her too.
Oh my God, incredible honesty. Like there's that.
Yeah. Like you're somebody
nature, that truth. Oh,
yeah.
God.
Like you're somebody that somebody would want to have as a friend and go to and say, look at, hey, you know, this is what's going on. What's your interpretation? You're going to smack it at them, but you're going to give it to them in this beauty and life and love and all of that. And but there's this honesty that comes from you. And I think that's absolutely beautiful. And I feel like, again, you know, it draws in that envy. No, you know what I mean? That jealousy or
96,
envy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's still young, fairly. And I think there's plenty of time. If Jada has this at this age currently, I have no worries about her.
Yeah.
I have no worries.
This is just the beginning. You're going to be going higher and higher, and it like just allow this year to, you know, learn the lessons, dissolve and move past and move forward and rise above. Like really as William said, rise above. Yeah.
Yeah. This is about anchoring in that sense of self, and it's going to be a good transition.
Absolutely. Hey, Norm, I just wanted to say hello. Thank you so much for joining us today. Make sure you subscribe, make sure click like, all of that stuff. But thank you so much for joining it. All of the new people, if there is any, Kevin, I see you're here too. Thank you so much, guys. It's wonderful. I think Gina, I saw Gina's name. Thank you so much, guys, for watching. It's truly appreciated. And welcome to all of you. All right.
Lots of new faces.
Lots of new faces. I love it. And you're so welcome, Jada. Yeah.
Our little show is growing.
It is. I love it.
You know, I was thinking about this right before we got on air, you know, about the show growing and how the ways in which we're going to be able to like honor our regulars. And, you know, I was looking and thinking of ideas, and I know it'll grow organically as it needs to, but just being proactive, you know, having like a little group or community, maybe like one of those Patreon pages or something like that, where people can solidify their spots as one of our, you know, regular contributing members to these shows, and how, you know, they can be put on like lists of preferred readings, you know, they get first pick and stuff like that. So just so you all know, you know, Kathy and I are considering lots of options as we continue to grow, and ways that we can honor you all for being with us, you know, this whole journey. It's an honor, honestly. We're both humbled to have you
every week
and show up every week. It's awesome.
I'll tell you guys a secret. Okay. So when the show ends, Brandon and I will, you know, like be able to chat for a little bit. And both of us feel, like Brandon said, so honored. And it's almost as though like I don't even know how to, like, there's been times like we'll come off of a show and we're flying. We're just feeling so like honored and grateful at the fact that you guys are here and that you're with us today and that you're watching, and you know, we're able to, you know, give to you something from our hearts. Like, this is just amazing for us. That's the way we look at it. So yeah,
it really is. Okay, so I've got Emily added to the list.
Okay.
And then I've also got Kevin added here. So
okay.
I've got a handful of people. So let's jump right to the next one, since we are going off air in an hour.
Okay, let's go.
All right. So next up, let me just make sure I've got Kevin here. Next up is going to be Gina.
Okay.
Gina is 8/28/76.
Okay.
Is that August 20th? Is that Leo or Libra? No, that's Libra.
August?
No, I'm sorry, Virgo. Virgo.
Okay. Gina. Okay.
Wait a minute. No, I'm so wrong.
August 28th is...
It is Virgo. Okay.
It
oh
is
my
Virgo.
gosh.
Okay.
Why am I second guessing myself?
Okay, Gina, this is, I know this has been, I actually feel like it's almost as though a specific message for you completely to come in, or is about to come in. And again, I just need to put it into words. I need to just listen to the, what's being brought in. This has been a really hard year for you. I feel almost as though this year in some manner has actually been one of the harder years for you, dealing with, it almost feels like you've been 2 steps forward, a step forward, 2 steps back, but then you go 2 steps forward and then 1 back. And I just keep getting shown like a treadmill in some way, like a treadmill that stops suddenly and then maybe goes, and then stops suddenly and then goes. Here's the thing though, Gina. Yes, it has been difficult, but what I'm also getting here too is there has been so many little blessings throughout this year. Like, I want to say, like, revelations, blessings. It almost feels as, okay, this is what I'm getting. I feel like the past, beyond this year, there was hardships in different ways, but again, blessings in different ways. And what I felt like from Spirit right now is they're trying to show you, how do I put this in? It's almost as though they're bringing you, recognizing these little blessings, which you have been, are bringing you more and more and more, and they're stacking them. I keep seeing stacking because I keep seeing like almost like stairs, things stacking on top of each other, but in a positive way, in this blessing way, in this way of really showing you. I'm going to tell you something. I feel like this year, even though it's been hard for you, I feel like, you know, in different ways, like in health and in just ways that have been sort of a struggle. I'm hearing that even though there's, I mean, life has challenges, of course, I don't want to dismiss that, but this is going to be like one of the last years. We're going to get, next week we can go more into this, but I almost feel like this year was needed to have what it had, simply because of the fact that there is so much more coming up, coming in, coming around in this beautiful and positive way. But I'm going to let Brandon talk, because I know that there's something, and I'm trying to grasp it. Yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah. I feel it because I can feel all of this sort of swarm around Gina when I connect with her energy. It feels like a lot of chaos. And one of the biggest things that I keep being shown is that Spirit keeps highlighting the fact that you have been distanced with friends. So whether it's physically distant or just, communication distant. And they keep showing me that this year was really important for you to learn to connect in deeper or emotional or even psychic ways with your friendships at a distance. There have been other disconnections I feel that have happened because of this year. But what Spirit keeps showing me is that there is this inherent either love or trust or ability even to connect with those that you're close to at a distance, and how other people can rely on you, especially for communication in an emotional capacity, even if it is at a distance. So perhaps maybe you thought you could not stay connected with people if you didn't constantly see them. But now this year really proved that you still have that ability to connect, and that you know who are the true people in your life because of this year. That seems to be one of the biggest things. They also keep showing me that you might have had to cut other people out because of this year. But what's important and what stands true and solid and super clear to me are the connections that you've been able to sustain when people are, quote unquote, out of sight, out of mind, if that makes sense. Mm-hmm. So that's really been, I think, one of the major catalysts this year for you, is who is true and who needed to be cut out.
And who's been there for you. And I feel like a lot of people have shown you who is truly there for you, whether they're virtual or whether they're in person. I feel this super strength coming in from your immediate, the people that are immediately around you, people that are like, this could be kids, family, whatever it is. But it, as Brandon said, it's showing who is there, who you can rely on, all of this. And it just feels like authentic. This is what I want to say. The word authentic is coming through very strongly. And I feel like this is something that's going to bring you into next year, where you're going to get the deeper sense of authenticity.
Yep. Yeah. It translates through to next year.
Yeah.
This is the year to figure out who's real, who's not.
Yeah.
And now you get to carry forward with real people in your life. I'm not sure if Gina's actually here. And I don't see Gina in the chat. But perhaps if
she may listen later
afterwards.
So, yeah.
Exactly.
Okay.
But that seems to be the main important point there for Gina.
Absolutely. Yeah.
All right. Thank you, Gina. All right. Make sure you all are staying in for your reading here. Asta, you're up next. I'll do an updated list here in the chat in just a moment, but I'll just kind of read it out loud. Asta, Lacey, William, Heather, Simran, Denise, Zach, Kayla, Emily, Ooh. Kevin, Levity Green. Is that your first name? Levity. We're doing first names and date of birth, but if you don't feel comfortable, that's okay. All right, so next up is Asta here.
Okay.
All right, so that is 29th of November, 96.
And that's her first name?
Yes, Asta.
Okay. You just give me a second.
The Sagittarius vibes.
You want to hear something funny? I don't know why. And again, maybe this is just because of, like you had just said, Sagittarius. Asta, if this makes any sense to you, just put it into the comments, please. I literally saw a horse. I don't know what that has to do with, but I literally saw a horse. And again, it could just be because of the Sagittarius vibe, but there's a sense of moving forward. Okay, I get it. I feel like this year, what I'm being shown here is similar to that Knight of Pentacles energy, which is slow and stable, but sturdy and moving forward. So I'm getting this combination. I'm being shown two things. I'm being shown that Knight of Pentacles, but I'm also being shown the Chariot. And again, that has to do with horses. And it's interesting that I would be shown the tarot cards instead of, hearing the words or the vision, but I'm being shown these two tarot cards. And what I feel, Asta, is that this has been a year where even though progress has been slow, it has also been very stable, even though you may not feel the stability quite yet. But it's also been, it's like you make a move, and there's been aspects being shown to you with every move. It's like you take a step and you may have had to sit and adjust to the energy of that one step, allowing you to take the next step. So it's been slow and maybe perhaps steady in some manner, but it's also been extremely progressive. So I'm being shown that Chariot. Every step has been progressive. It's allowed you to balance. And I feel like this has been extremely necessary for the moving ahead of what is coming. It almost feels as though I keep hearing the word almost chaos in some way, like maybe past energy before this year, or maybe, at some point throughout this year. I don't want to say like complete chaos, but it almost feels as though there was a point within this year where you stopped and you said, no, I'm not going to accept either that drama or that energy or whatever it was. I need to get into my own place of balance. I need to get into my own progression. I need to get into my own steadiness of moving forward. And I'm going to keep that Chariot balanced in order to move forward. And I feel like this is what you've been working on. So there's been this inner sense of calm about you, where it feels as though, yes, I can stay within this energy right now. I'm going to accept my present moment at this time, and I'm going to move forward when I am ready to move forward. When I'm feeling, the ground strong beneath my feet, I'm going to move forward, and I'm going to make each step count. I'm going to make each step progressive, and I'm going to make each step strong and sturdy for me. So I hope that's what I keep getting for you at this time. I don't know if you feel like adding anything to that, Brandon. It just feels like this has been a very beautiful and progressive year for you, because you really learned a lot about your own energy and being able to trust that next step, trust that next movement forward, trust that that progression that's coming through. And this is going to lead you into that 2021, and it's beautiful energy.
Yeah, I the key words here for me and what I'm connecting with are that internal perspective and that sense of trust or faith, if you will. What I keep being shown is that there has been a surge for Asta here to look into, identify the quote unquote internal unknown. So this is always that mark of trusting in the intuition. This has been a year for Asta to really develop intuition and how it can guide the life that is supposed to be felt or lived, and the vision or goals internally, so that they align with the external. So this really has been a year for Asta of listening and defining the intuition, and how there are those, little key indicators that pop up when you are tapped into our intuition. They're little indicators. They're almost like little roadmaps or signs that say, oh, you should be going this way, because you feel that instinct. For example, for me, I really took up archery this year, and I have been a right hand dominant person my entire life, but something about shooting a bow and arrow with a left hand, it hit me in my gut instinct. And I was like, oh, what is that? Like, what is that feeling? And it just felt so solid. And obviously doing this 15 years, I know when my intuition is pinging me. And I think that's what you're becoming aware of this year, Asta, is when that intuition is pinging you to do something either a certain way or go on a certain path. That's been the major importance of this year for you. So like you had said, you needed off from your extreme panic attacks and anxiety. That to me is a perfect symptom of someone who is not listening to intuition.
That's where I felt that chaos coming in from then. It just, yeah, okay. That makes sense.
Exactly.
Then, yeah. Okay.
So this has definitely been the year for you to focus on those internal connections, connecting into the void, being okay with the void. You know, the void is really just our view of the unknown. It's like going out into outer space. We don't know what the heck is going to be out there, but are you going to do it with a sense of adventure and trust and faith, or are you going to do it with fear? We all know that fear is one of the most limiting emotions, you know, that quite literally forces a limit or a boundary on our perspective and what we can experience. And when we are in a place of acceptance, that is when we can receive the abundance of the universe. So you have absolutely been tapping into that intuition. You have been conquering this void. And I think you're going to likely see that in the next year as well. So well done. This is always a difficult thing to take on, is acknowledging the void and trusting in your intuition. That's always a tough thing. But it seems like you have definitely embraced it, Asta. And for that, I can say I'm definitely proud of you for doing that. It's
absolutely. It just feels so like you're not going to move until you're ready. And I love that energy. It just feels so calm. It feels so strong internally, and you're not allowing the external shit, excuse my language, to affect you. And this is exactly where it is that you should be and you want to be. And I love it. Yeah. Good
synchronicity, good alignment there.
Absolutely.
All right. Thank you, Asta, and well done. All right, let's move on to Lacey. Lala, I have you added to the list. Lacey, I believe, is a first time.
Okay.
First timer here.
Lacey, make sure you're subscribed. Okay.
Lacey says that she has been working and has never been able to make the show, so she's been aware of it.
That's awesome.
So this is the first time she was able to make it.
Well, I'm just so happy to have you. We're so glad that you're able to watch. I love that. Thank you.
All right, let's make sure Lacey is still here. I don't know if I see Lacey in the chat. See, this is the thing I was telling you last week, Kathy. I don't know if the chat participant tab only shows me the people that are here that are subscribed, or if it just shows me, you know, if they're not here anymore. So Lacey, if you're here, make sure you sound off in the chat. There we go. Oh, Kathy, they know you in person. They
do? Okay. Awesome.
Okay.
Oh,
right, so let's connect here with Lacey.
Right, perfect. Yes. I think I do. I think I do remember Lacey. Yes. Okay.
Libra.
Okay. Lacey. I'm listening to the messages that are coming in. Just give me a second. I feel okay. So this is interesting. Lacey, and again, you know, if you can confirm in the comments as we're going through and all that stuff. So what I feel is there has been a real sense of isolation. Okay, that obviously, I mean, we're in 2020. Like, I don't mean to pass that off as being like that, but it feels as though you've spent a lot of time just connecting with your immediate surroundings. And there's a little bit of fear there. There's a little bit of fear about stepping out in some manner. And I don't mean like shopping, or it just feels like it's almost as though, how do I explain this? There's a comfort. What's that?
Oh no, go ahead. Sorry.
Oh, okay. It almost feels like this comfort that you've experienced with just your inner people, and
comfort. That's a key word. Yeah.
Right. Like it almost feels like
internal perspective. Well, you said external surroundings, right? You said something about the surroundings.
Yeah, like staying within your, like the people that are externally close to you. Like I want to say within the house or whatever, right?
Gotcha.
But I feel like, you know what's interesting? I'm being shown like a toe being like, you know, when somebody's testing the water, like you're taking a toe and testing it.
There you go. Yes. Yes.
And it just feels like you're kind of like, okay, yeah. Oh, I don't know about that. And I feel like spirit is asking you to step away from some of that comfort zone. It's time to expand. It feels like this year, it's good that you've brought in, or that you've allowed yourself to stay within your inner field to some degree, because I do feel that there's been a deeper bond with your children, perhaps a partner, spouse, even within yourself. Like you've allowed yourself to really, expand. Yeah. Like it just feels like there's this internal knowing, internal expansion, internal trust, I hear the word modification, which is really weird because that's not a word that I would normally like throw out there. But internal modification, it's like you've allowed yourself to really go deep within yourself, within your family, your children, again, maybe your spouse, right? And this has been beneficial for you. However, I do feel the spirit is asking you, and again, you know, as we go maybe next week, and when we look in predictions or whatever, it just feels like it's time. Take a step, you know?
Yeah, I think you're definitely tapping into what we're going to connect with next week. But this week, you know, and then looking over the year, this has been a year to get right with the self. What I keep being shown, and that's why I was resounding a few of the things you said here, is that this is all about Lacey getting right with internal emotions. It feels like Lacey is the kind of person who easily will go and do things for other people, you know, neglect maybe her own self and just focus on the things of others. But this has been the year to finally let Lacey sit down and get right with the internal, get right with the emotions, let the emotions come into a sense of harmony, because there is going to be some massive emotional growth coming up, or at least emotional connection coming up next year. So this year it's needed to be the year for Lacey to know, okay, these are my emotions. This is what I feel. Let me process what I need to, you know, and there probably has been some other, you know, moments of confronting oneself internally. You've probably been met with a few moments of that, Lacey, in this past year, and it's probably been quite a bit uncomfortable, but it's all to create a sense of definition, emotional and internal definition. So that way, when you are dipping your toes and taking a little bit more adventure for next year, that you are secure in who you are and what you feel. And you know that if somebody's trying to make you feel something in the future, you know your own definitions because of what you've gone through this year.
Okay. So it was interesting. So Lacey said, I'm single and I just have my nieces and nephews. That's okay. But, you know, I just felt like there was an external, like you were just staying within your own thing. But Brandon hit it right on the nose, because as he was saying it, I kept feeling this was important for next year, because of the fact that there is going to be interactions that are coming in that are going to be that intuition, all of those things that you've learned, all of that going into yourself, allowing, and again, I kept feeling like that toe, you know, wanting to come out and start testing the waters on things. This is all going to turn into this beautiful recognition of energy and your own internal self-awareness, all of this. And like Brandon was saying, like new people coming in or people coming in that you're going to be able to have that trust with. Like this was super important for you this year. It is time. I feel going into 2021, you're going to be able to start taking your toe and putting it into the water a little bit, starting to allow yourself to really expand. But because you've got this inner knowledge of yourself, this inner knowledge that you've allowed yourself to absorb and learn and move forward with, and testing and all of that stuff, you're going to, I actually really like next year for you. So I hope that you can watch next year, because I feel like power. Like it's funny. I actually got shown a picture of Wonder Woman in my head. So I don't know what that, but
well, it was released last night.
There you go. Maybe. Yeah. But
I get it.
Yeah. It feels like this now you're coming into you. You're coming into you. You're moving
and this
forward.
Year,
yeah.
It was important. It had to know, Lacey
Mm-hmm.
had to know that definition. So that way now this harmony that has been instilled within the self can be reflected externally as well.
I love that energy.
That's I know the emotions and confronting certain things, about ourselves, whether our intentions were good or bad, it can always be a difficult moment of reflection. But reflection was probably one of the major themes of your year, Lacey. And now that you have been forced to face your own reflection,
Mm-hmm.
now you've landed on some really solid things for yourself, and that's what was important about this year.
Yeah. It's strong and it's beautiful and it's going to get better. Like that's what I just keep. You're not going to let anybody. It's almost like I think the way I'm getting shown Wonder Woman is that lasso of truth. You know what I mean? Like you're going to be able to recognize somebody, what they're saying. You're not, it's almost as though you have your own lasso of truth is basically what I'm saying, because of the fact that you went into your own intuition. And that's what I keep feeling. So that's really interesting.
Beautiful. I was just typing in the chat there.
Sure. And Lacey, next show is going to be next Saturday, 1:00. And yeah, we're gonna be doing more like predictions and stuff like that coming in. So
beautiful. Thank you, Lacey, and thank you for sharing yourself here with us.
Yeah.
I'm glad you can make it finally.
Me too. It's nice to have you. It's good.
All right, our William is up next.
Okay.
So William, let's see, 4/20/86. That beginning of Taurus, right there.
Okay.
My fellow Taurian.
All right, William. Something about electronics. I don't know what that means. I just keep seeing a lot of electronics around you, or something to do with computers, or I don't know. That's not your message. I just need to actually see if that makes any sense to you, because that was the first thing that I got within my head. Something about electronics. I don't know what the heck that. Are you a gamer? Like I almost want to say you're a gamer or something along that line. Personal interactions is what I keep picking up. Something about personal interactions, personal. I almost want to say that a lot of your world or your personal connections, there's been a lot of online interaction, more so than the maybe perhaps that one-on-one. And I don't mean just this year. I mean, everybody is kind of like that for this year. So I mean, that's very general. But I meant, this might be something that is more your thing, okay, rather than those personal interactions. However, what I'm getting from Spirit is it feels as though there's this step out of that. I feel like, okay, I keep seeing people's faces, okay, like coming, it's like you're interacting with people's faces. And I almost feels like a learning process of some sort for you. Does that make sense? Like, you know what I mean? Like you're starting to learn expressions, you're starting to learn interactions, you're not only within yourself, but within others. And I keep getting shown like people's faces coming through to you. And it feels as though I feel happiness from you. Now, I don't know if this is a present energy or if this is a future energy. I feel to some degree this is like a present energy or a current energy. It feels as though it's like you're learning. It's like you're learning. You're looking at people, like it's like you're starting to recognize this is those expressions. This is how people interact. It just feels like this expansion as you're making this awareness towards these online connections. So maybe there's been more FaceTime with people, or maybe, you've allowed yourself to be shown in some way online. But what I keep getting here is this beautiful energy of you seeing things. Like, I want to say the way people look, like you're recognizing expressions, you're recognizing happiness, sadness.
I think I can.
Does that make sense? Yeah.
It absolutely makes sense, because what I'm being shown, you're saying all the key words here, but I want to tie it up in the way that I keep being shown is that there have been people that have pulling on your energy for a while, William, and you have been drained of your own energy, your own power. And so you're finally starting to see what people have to contribute to you and who is just an energy sucker, basically. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And you're cutting out anybody else, anyone who takes away your own light, quote unquote. Yeah. And you're recognizing, or like Kathy kept saying, seeing these faces. And so it's like you're kind of cataloging, you're figuring out, who's who and who really contributes to my happiness. But in the inverse, this year has been about who has been taking away from that. You're finally coming to a definition for yourself of, okay, this person is not contributing to what I need to do. I can disconnect, or I need to not feed energy into that connection. And what Spirit keeps showing me is that you've created this year a solid foundation for yourself. You're allowing yourself to get into that space of, okay, this is my sense of security. This is who adds to this. This is who takes away from it. And I feel that it's probably for a reason, for whatever is to come next year. So again, this year really has been about recognition and recognizing, okay, what and who takes away my energy and who contributes to it or adds to it.
I want to add something to that, William. What I'm getting here too is you were saying in the chat here, trying to get myself out there. What I'm getting here too is as you're doing this, I literally see you turning off either a connection. It's almost like you just looked at something and you went delete. Or you turned off, maybe a chat, or turned off. It's almost like, nope, I'm not connecting with you. Shut off. And I don't know if that was a real event or if that's what Spirit is being shown. Like I said, in regards to the faces and being able to recognize things, I feel, and in going to what Brandon said, is recognizing that energy drain, recognizing who it is that's supposed to be with you, around you, who is going to help you and who is going to take away from you. And as we get into next year, you're going to this was all a learning process. So that's exactly what I'm getting. If you feel like you need to delete or cut off or turn off, literally, like I feel like a light, like I literally see like a delete button or whatever, follow that. I feel like this is super important. Follow that instinct, because this is what is going to bring you into, when you talk about getting yourself out there, this is going to help move you forward. Okay.
I'm excited to do William's predictions next week.
Yeah.
Hopefully he shows up.
Yeah.
Because it feels really cool, honestly. I like that sense of foundation and whatever he's building. Hey, sometimes that's so important, right, Kathy? Like, law of attraction. Like, I think we spoke about it either last week or maybe personally, you and I don't know, these conversations kind of blend into each other. But it's like, how can you fill a glass if it's already full of something else? Yeah, right?
Absolutely.
And so sometimes we've got to cut out that stuff so we can align with what we really want. Oh, look at that. William says he's been deleting people on social media.
Oh, well, there you go. Yeah, I kept feeling that it was almost like literally you're looking and going, delete, done. Like I just kept getting that. So that's, yeah. Thank you for that validation. It just felt like this is so important for you. So, so important. I love it.
Awesome. Perfect. Thank you, William. All right, let's go on to HK, our Heather, January 1989. That is one of my close friends' birthdays. That's his exact birthday.
Okay, Heather, you are on the right path. That's the first thing I hear. This has been so I do know Heather, in person, I guess is probably the best way to say it, although not in person, but I keep okay. This has never come up with you and I though, Heather, for whatever reason. So I'm going to be bringing something new in. I keep seeing literally a Buddha. Okay, like it just like freaking appeared right there. This is the right path, is what I keep saying. Not saying, get into Buddhism or anything like that. That's not what I'm talking about. But it does feel as though like that change in that energy, that shift, that spiritual perspective. Looking at things not from the sense of oneness. This is full consciousness and starting to feel the energy of consciousness flowing through. Oh my goodness, that's quite a mouthful, isn't it? But it's what I kept getting. It was almost like you're starting to connect to the consciousness of all, and I'm watching as like even though this may not be in like the tangible energy of touching stuff, but I feel like it's almost like you're being aware of that plant growing, you're being aware of that bird, you're being aware of the person on the other side of the ocean, you're being aware of this, like the consciousness of things this has been a year of building that conscious energy of connection is what I keep getting. This is beautiful. This is going to continue to grow. This is going to continue to lead you to where it is exactly you are supposed to go. I keep feeling like even though you're still hanging on to shreds or shards of a sense of self-doubt or a sense of not sure if this is the right path, I keep feeling those synchronicities coming up for you as you continue to go, and you're going to start shedding that old perspective, and you're going to start allowing yourself to really move forward again in this inner consciousness, like this inner and external it's like all in one, and it's just coming in. It's absolutely gorgeous and beautiful, and oh my God, it's amazing. Yeah.
Well, it's very clear, and I think that this has been a bit of a difficult year for Heather. And the one thing I keep being shown is, honestly, Heather, you could learn from Spiritual J, from Jada, to embrace that Phoenix energy, because what seems important for you, and what I'm shown for this past year, is that you had to go through a bit of destruction so that you knew that growth can amount from those ashes, from those broken down places. And then this is where Kathy was going very deep with it, is it does have to deal with your level of consciousness and the perception that it has. It is about growing your consciousness. It is about expanding that area of self, because there are multiple things that you're tapped into that I don't even feel you were aware of at the beginning of this year. I think there are multiple things that you weren't even aware that you were tapped into. And the thing about that stance, that perspective, is that you don't know what you can be affecting on different levels until you are consciously aware of those levels that you're connected to. So you had to go through the quote unquote breakdown in order to be able to grow back from this place. Because what you're rebuilding has to do with, it's a direct relationship between your consciousness and your physical body.
Yeah.
Those are going to go hand in hand as you grow past this year. So the destruction, as annoying and difficult as it may have been, and the challenges that you have gone through in yourself or with others, yeah, it could be annoying, but these breakdowns were really important, because you are building again, or growing, as Spirit keeps showing me, growth from destruction. You are growing again.
Yeah.
The relationships, connections, investments in light of a higher level of consciousness. That's the point. So again, as frustrating as it was necessary. And Kathy's tapping into the very deep aspects of it, but I really wanted to make sure I acknowledge the other destruction that the year had gone through.
Yeah. It just feels so transformative. That's what I just keep getting. So transformative. Yes. So, I feel like the reason I'm seeing the Buddha, but I'm also getting, it's like that butterfly, like literally, like you are transforming is what I get. And I don't know.
Oh, duh, Capricorn. I mean, Jupiter, Pluto, Saturn were all in Capricorn.
Oh,
Pluto's still in Capricorn. Yeah, that makes total sense to me.
Yeah.
Pluto, that planet of transformation, right?
Mm-hmm.
That makes total sense now that I think about it this way too. Even lines up astrologically.
Yeah. You're just opening. Just go with that. Allow yourself to follow, what you're being guided to. And you're just going to see, that's all I can say. I just feel this beauty coming in for you internally, externally, all of that. It's going to be just transformation. I just keep hearing that transformation. It's coming through.
Yeah, it's like the cocoon. It's like this year was the cocoon, right?
In so many ways. In so many ways. Yeah.
Oh, I love that. Beautiful, HK. We'll share some of those beautiful butterfly wings with us next year.
Yeah. Absolutely. Please do.
I'm excited to see.
Yeah.
Ooh, I just heard, we'll save this for next week, but I just heard something about running a business. So I don't know what that is. We'll tap into it another time. I just saw this clear vision. So very interesting, which makes sense for a Capricorn energy too, for sure. All right. So JJ is up next. Simran, I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. March 12th, 94, a Pisces.
Okay.
Simran, pardon me.
Simran?
Simran.
Okay.
Simran.
Okay. Huh. Okay. There, it's interesting. I do feel that there has been you have dealt with a lot of self-doubt this year. It feels like self-doubt. I feel some mood swings in there as well. I don't know whether they were internal or external, or maybe you didn't present them, which is fine. Like I feel like all of that though was necessary. Okay, so the image I'm being shown, Simran, is for whatever reason, I'm literally seeing a tornado. Okay, it's like this tornado that is, uh, I can't tell if this tornado is ahead of you, kind of destroying a path, like in order to create a clearer path for you, is what I kind of feel. It's almost like this, when a tornado comes through, it kind of takes out everything in its path. But what I feel is you come behind this tornado, coming behind this tornado, being in this place of, oh my God. Okay. Give me a second here. They're tornado. It's like somebody so strong, so powerful that they're like I literally see like your back straight, moving forward, not having to look to the sides of you. You're moving straight ahead, like your destiny, your path, your all of this strength that is coming through. You're letting the tornado in some manner. Now, whether this is figuratively or literally, I'm not sure, but it just feels like this tornado came in, took everything out, and now you're going straight through. I don't know if that makes any sense to you. I don't know if this is something you've already experienced, or, again, literally, or figuratively, or however it is, but it just feels as though this amazing internal, external strength that is following the path of this tornado. But that tornado wasn't, I just went, oh, okay, I learned a lot. Yeah. So that's exactly what I'm feeling. It just feels like does that make sense? Yeah.
Yeah, I think I can make that connection here.
I just have to, I'm sorry. I just have to I have to seriously run to the bathroom. I always have to do
this.
You're
good.
Okay. All right.
So Simran, I want to make that connection here because I think Kathy is so interesting the way that she's seeing it. You have a very blended energy. I mean, you are very much connected to source. You have a great spiritual perspective here that's happening in the unconscious. I'm not sure if you're fully conscious of it yet. I assume that you are, and I assume that you know that you have these other connections, but what I keep being shown was this was the year for you to test that. And that's why I think Kathy kept picking up and seeing that tornado. It's like a tornado kind of blends everything together, right? It removes houses and things from the ground and puts it in this like whirlwind of things. And so this was absolutely the year, Simran, for you to test your faith, to test your connections in things that are, beyond just physical reality. So this testing has been a way for you to see, okay, how does this friction spell out something, of truth? Is it going to be something that I can rely on, or, literally even just trust in my life? I think you're testing your spiritual connections this year, because the truth is, Simran, I feel you have the capacity, and maybe you did years ago when you were younger, lost your sense of self because of everything or everyone around you, because you can so easily identify with so many different types of people, because you can have so many different types of connections with people that, okay, now this year, I feel like I'm being thrown all over, and now I have to test these sort of connections. Again, whether it was with other people, but more specifically, it has to do with your own intuition and your own psychic perceptions that you do get, because you do pick up on other people's energy 100%. But this was the year to be able to test your connections with spirit, source, with the universe, with God, whatever you hold or firmly believe in. It's like, okay, now I'm, now the tornado, like Kathy kept seeing, has like mixed everything up, and what still stands. Mm-hmm. And that's what I feel has been the major importance of this past year. feel like finally back to my old self after so long. Yeah, exactly.
And that's where I felt like you following that tornado, being in that strength of power. And it's almost like, yeah, you go through, you take away, you take out whatever it is that needs to not be here anymore. I'm just walking through. I have it's almost like I want to say like from a Marvel movie, you know, the cape, the whole bit, and just, you know, allowing the Hulk or whatever to go through and destroy what is needed to come through, and you're coming in as this superhero almost, with this power. It's like, yeah, okay, we're ready, we're going, we're moving forward. That's what I keep getting.
That's beautiful. Simran, you definitely have some really, really strong connections with spirit. That could be something to explore in this next year, but we can talk about that next week if you pop in.
I do. Yeah. Well, I'm gonna try to, you know, if it's a little bit after, that's okay. Polly Free, he was asking if I have to go at 3 or 2, but yeah, but we'll try and get what we can today.
All right. Well, thank you, Simran. Thank you, JJ.
Who is next?
Next is going to be Denise.
Okay.
November 20th, 95.
Okay. Denise. Okay. I seriously keep feeling with you. Okay, so I see a candle, and I see you literally like this for whatever reason. And it almost feels as though there is a sense of diminishing yourself in some manner, in some way. And I feel like I feel like that to some degree that was important. There was a part of you that you had to diminish. When I say diminish, that doesn't mean I may not be saying that right, but I also feel you taking the lighter and lighting that candle also, but in a new way of some sort. It's like you had to take away some sort of sense of perception that you had within yourself, some sense of it's like you had to burn out one part in order to relight another part of yourself. What I keep getting is that this is illumination, like illuminating. This has been an illuminating year for you. It's about to get even deeper into next year. So I hope you can be here next week, because I truly feel like this is going to be freaking powerful for you. I literally am seeing a door. Where it's like you're diminishing a part, you're blowing out this candle in one part, you're closing the door behind it, you're opening the door and lighting a new candle, and it's like a whole new entranceway into a whole new realm for you. And that's what I keep seeing. It's like you're taking this candle and it is absolutely illuminating a whole new sense of life for you. It's absolutely beautiful. There's going to be it's like you're stepping over that threshold. That even could be within a relationship type of manner, seeing that threshold, like a bride being carried over a threshold in some way. But I do feel like there's going to be a step over that threshold going into 2021. All of this, whatever 2020 was absolutely 100% necessary, because you diminished, you blew out, you took like those parts of you that were holding you back. You're now moving forward. That's what I keep getting. This was absolutely necessary for you.
That's, I think, beautiful. I think, I don't know if I'm picking up something different fully or not. What I keep being shown, and maybe you can make that tie or connection, Kathy.
Okay.
I keep being shown that this was a year for Denise to really communicate. Spirit keeps showing me emotional communication. And they keep showing me that it has to do with the bonds between herself and other people, but I also feel that it has to do with internal as well. What what does the emotional self have to communicate with the whole self or the full self? So I feel like for Denise, this was a year for really getting in touch with her own internal emotions and what the emotions are trying to communicate to the self. It's like you've been figuring out that your emotions have information for yourself, and that it has to do with the overall bond between you and yourself, you know, between the soul and the human self, but also between your whole self and other people's whole selves. And I think that's the part that kind of ties in with what you're picking up, Kathy. It's like, it has to do with those integral bonds with other people, but it always starts first within the self, right? The relationship that we have with ourselves directly reflects the relationships we do have with other people. And that feels like that's the awareness that this year has given you, Denise, is that.
It's interesting because I literally heard in my head to pick up one of my cards. And Denise, for you, I got the Sorcerer. And this came, like, I just feel, I literally, like, I just picked it up. And it just feels like this card is for you. And you're going to be experiencing all of that coming into this upcoming year. Like, this was just the prelude to that door opening. That's what I keep getting. Yeah. It's beautiful energy.
That's so interesting. I don't know, with Denise's energy, there's always some spiritual undertone to it. Every time we've connected with her, done a reading, there's always a spiritual undertone. There are important concepts that you are learning in this life, Denise. Well, your consciousness already knows, but your human self is coming to learn. And I think you're going to start seeing this relationship very clear. The soul and the human self. That feels very, very key. I think I'm going to leave it at that.
Yeah.
Because I don't want to get too much into predictions and stuff for next year. But the relationship between the soul and the human self, that's going to be key.
Perfect. We should get moving because we still got a few more.
Yes. All right. Thank you, Denise. And thank you for sharing this journey with us, too. Polyfree is up next.
Okay.
Zachary, and that's March 4th, 94. Another Pisces.
Yeah. Okay. So Polyfree, this is what I'm hearing for you. Okay. There's kind of, it's a dual message. I feel that you need to remove yourself from the worry of romantic undertones. It's not particularly the time. It's not that the time isn't coming, because the time is going to come when the time is going to come. This is very strong coming through you. What I am getting, though, this is like, this has been a year. This has been a year of allowing yourself to just give me, I have to put, again, words, form words, Kathy, use your mouth, form words. It's like the energy and the emotions that are coming through. You have released a lot of aspects of your own personality that you thought were necessary in moving forward, but you have let a lot of those go. It's like you're starting to see your own, when I say mistakes, it doesn't mean that you've made mistakes or anything like that, but there have been certain aspects within yourself that you're looking at and you're going, oh, why did I react this way? Why did I do this? How come this is this? What were the expectations of other people that I were bringing in? What was I, it's almost as though you're looking at things in this third manner, and I've brought this up before, it's almost like looking at it from a video game type of view, you know, where you're the third person, but you're now starting to see a lot of these interactions, or you may have seen those interactions, or you may have, you know, in some way you're looking at it and going, I understand now. I understand why this wasn't needed for me. I understand why this wasn't necessary. I understand, you know, the personal aspect of this. I understand why this person reacted to me in this way. I'm starting to see my growth for sure, and forgiving myself. Absolutely. Now, as you're going, and this is why I say don't put thought, or you don't need to worry about the romantic aspect of anything, because that is going to be, that's just a given. I'm just going to place that there. That's a given that's coming through. Okay. So we're not even going to get into that right now, but this is going to, what you have learned is it's a different insight. You really, it's almost like you, and I talk about the doors, you know, I talked about the doors with Denise, but it's almost as though you're in this hallway and you're opening up a door and you're receiving these insights. And then you kind of go, oh, okay. Like, I'm getting it. I understand. I'm feeling, I'm absorbing. I'm recognizing all of what this realm in that particular door has to offer. And then you're because of that curiosity and that insight that you've received from one, you're moving into the next, and you're opening the door and you're receiving the realm and the insights of that next one, and you're moving forward. And as you're going, it's like this hallway and these doors, it's like opening up into a foyer, and you're getting more and more and more, and this is leading you to higher realms. Like you're just moving, and this is what I keep feeling for you at this point. I hope that makes sense to you, because all of these doors, whether they have labels or no labels, that doesn't matter. They are there to show you all of these hardships. Like, I don't want to say hardships, but like, you know, difficulties within relationships. They were absolutely necessary for the loss of ego. And as you had said, forgiveness. And those were so important. And each of these doors is showing you that new aspect, that new insight, those new interpretations of things that you have experienced and have allowed yourself to go through. So this next year coming up is going to be wow. But yeah, I'm gonna.
My goodness, Kathy, you are tapping so deep into these aspects of themselves. I feel like my own candle can't even hold a flame to your fire here, because I mean, I'm picking up on such they're much more simple notions or things, and you're really describing the depth of it and where it comes from and how it connects. Like what I'm being shown is quite simply that Zachary had to learn that there are many different layers and realms of emotions and things to connect to. Yeah. And this year has all been about doing the simple moments of connection, to not worry about all of the deep emotions that are involved when connecting with people, because not everybody can get on that depth. And for Zachary to learn how easy and important it is to even just connect on that surface level of emotions, and that doing so, being, you know, social or surface level, can lead to the depth of the deeper emotions that I feel Zachary being within constantly. Mm-hmm. But learning how to bring oneself up to the surface in order to find the connection. And then, you know, when you do find somebody, then you can take the deep dives. But in order to find people, sometimes you do have to breach the surface. Think of it like an orca. You know, that orca comes up to the air, but then goes underneath to swim with its pod, you know, and to connect and feel one with the group. It feels like what was important about this year was to really remember to breach the surface, you know, come out from the depths of the waters. And take that really breath. Hit that surface of, you know, of that's where you can see everybody. That's where you can see those landmarks or those, you know, other pods of others, you know what I mean? So I feel like that's what it's been the major year. But like you were saying, Kathy, I mean, you really were describing the depths of all of those lessons and connections. I mean, that's beautiful.
I just feel that they're so important. I'm also getting to is Zachary, is that with each room that you enter, and the emotions that are brought up, and the insights that you receive, I feel like, okay, like you need to walk into that room, absorb it all, see the insights that you're receiving, and then literally drop what it is that is not resonating with you, what you don't need to hang on to anymore. Leave it there, like as if you're leaving luggage behind, and you can just leave it there, and then you're making that path into the next room or the next hallway or the next foyer in a clearer sense. Okay, so I hope that makes sense.
I think so. I'll just type it in the chat. You're seeing a good example of how two different psychics, yourself, myself, are connecting with the same energy, and the different words and perspectives that come through in describing them. Because that's a whole part of psychic reading, right? Is you can tap into the energy, yes, but you're essentially paying your psychic advisor to translate for you. So I think it's cool. Everybody's getting to see a good example of this. So it's really cool.
Absolutely.
It's not often you get two psychic readings in one, right? That is not often that happens. And
usually it's around the same path. But again, like you said, it's the interpretation or the way of describing. And, everybody's going to have their different style, their different way of sending it through. I just go, and you use yours, and I, it's like when I'm seeing with mine, I just get shown, and I kind of just throw it out there.
We love you too, Zach.
Thank you. Thank you. Love you too.
All right, let's see. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 more. Do you think we can get to them?
We could. We have to be a little quick though, unless we want to kind of, save them throughout the week. Unless we do one throughout the week. It's hard to say, but we could do that too.
What's your call, Kathy?
Well, okay. Kevin is kind of new though. We've never done Kevin.
Kevin is new.
I wouldn't mind. Who is next anyway?
Kay is next, then Emily, Kevin, Levty, and Lala.
Okay. All right. We will have to make it kind of quick though. I think we could do it, but we'll have to be kind of quick. So.
All right. So we can just kind of sum up our messages. Pretty clear.
I wouldn't mind. I mean, if you guys are up for it too, if you guys want longer messages, we could do maybe like a Wednesday one or something like that, but that's up to Brandon. So another
I'll have to look at the schedule.
Yeah. So we'll have to see.
Let's connect here with Kay real quick.
Sounds good.
Let's see. All right, Kayla, and that's September 8th, 95. I have Virgo.
Okay.
Oh, that's one of my friends' birthdays too.
Okay. Kay, interesting. I don't know why I'm seeing the sky. I'm being shown a lot of clouds. I'm being shown a clear sky. I want to, when I say a clear sky, it's like clear with the clouds, but like it's like a beautiful blue sky with these white clouds coming through. I just keep seeing okay, so what I'm being shown here is the clouds moving aside with that sun coming through. It's really interesting, Kayla. What I get is, I don't know if your year has been really difficult, but I'm almost feeling like there has been a more beautiful energy behind this year than there has been in a sense of difficulty. It almost feels as though like you've been able to, what is the word? Expand out that heart energy. It might be also too, like I'm looking at this rainbow that you just placed into the chat, and that's almost what I'm being shown here. It's a sense of that rainbow. It's like you've allowed yourself to really see things on a different spectrum, like almost like a different
there you go.
right,
yeah.
like a chakra spectrum, you know, like of all those different, it's like you've opened up each individual chakra. You've allowed yourself to release, you've allowed yourself to absorb, you've allowed yourself to expand it out. And I don't know if you had a lot of spiritual insights this year or not, but it's really showing me that spirit is trying to just show you this beautiful sun that's coming out. I'm not, I mean, I could be wrong in the extent that maybe this year has been difficult, but I feel like it's really the perspective of, perspective. It's like, again, that spectrum, how are you looking at it, right?
Yeah, I keep being shown that this was a year to release fear. And it was like, now, Spirit keeps showing me is that she's gotten out of her own way. It's like, now that these fears have been released or let go, it is kind of allowing for that. And like you had said, you know, the sun to shine through and the breaking clouds. It's like those clouds are finally going away. I don't know if there was an issue of control at some point in your life, Kayla, but Spirit keeps showing me is that there has been this sort of bit of surrender. Once you have worked on releasing these fears, there's a bit of a surrender of trusting, you know, in things, something above the self, or, you know, in the higher self, if you will. Now that these fears are being released, it's like you are able to let things flow in more. And I think that's where Kathy's vision really ties in well, is that clouds parting, you know, and sun finally like being able to shine down on you. So this year was about, you know, definitely surrendering and letting those fears go.
So I literally just again picked up from my deck. Look at that. The rainbow.
The rainbow? Oh my gosh, you randomly picked that out?
Yeah, that's just blows my mind, right? Because I kept seeing this rainbow and I kept seeing this sun. Yes, it does mean that the new beginnings, the happiness. I just feel like something from this year is bringing you into that sense of happiness. Like, that's freaking crazy. I literally just pulled, that's one of the happiest cards within this deck. So as you're asking, is this going to be bringing about happiness? Yes. Yes. These insights that you've received, they're about to be bringing in beautiful, beautiful new energy for you. I love that.
Did you confront your death, Kayla? Did you confront death this year? Like the idea and concept of death? I don't know why. That just keeps kind of stringing through really clear. It's like somebody who comes to accept the idea of death and that it's inevitable. And then the I don't know, the sense of renewal or openness that somebody gets, you know, when they get that. There's always a moment in somebody's life where they come to accept, well, sometimes. Sometimes we don't ever accept death, and then we're on its doorstep and, you know, we're kicking and screaming the whole way out. But
spiritual death.
A simple transition. Oh, yeah. There we go. Yeah.
Okay. That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. Perfect. Well, you're in the right space. Kayla. You're definitely in the right energy. It'll be interesting to see what's picked up on next week if you end up coming. All right. Let's see. It's quarter after. We've got Emily, Kevin, Love Tea, and Lala. Okay. Let's see. Do you think we can do 15 minutes? 4 of them in 15 minutes?
We can try. Okay.
All right.
Okay.
Let's go with Emily here. Okay. Emily, August 10, 2001. That's a Leo.
Okay.
Emily the Leo.
Emily. Interesting energy. I'm seeing a clover. Like I literally am seeing a 4-leaf clover. I don't know why. It feels as though okay, Emily, I feel like there's a sense of wishes, luck, something like that, something along that line of like you've actually made wishes, or you've made a sense of, okay, I got to ask you a question. Was there a sense of, if you allow this, I will do this? This is what I keep getting. It's almost like making a pact, or making what's.
I'm actually not sure Emily is here, so why don't we just give her the message and whatever's
Okay,
coming through.
I feel like what you have wished on is going to come into fruition. That's what I keep getting with that clover. What I feel is like whatever your wish was, you've been shown the insights in order to make it a reality for next year. So we'll leave it at that.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think for Emily, this was a year to definitely open up to new emotions, and Spirit keeps showing me opening to emotional harmony.
Perfect.
So I feel like that was key for Emily, and I think her development, because I know that in the past she's asked about relationships and stuff.
Okay.
And so knowing her own emotions seemed really important. So perfect. Hopefully you listen to this later, Emily. I know she was having difficult with her connection.
Okay.
Okay. All right, so we've got Kevin. Love T, if you're still here. Lala, if you're still here, give us a holler in the chat. I know Kevin is still here, so let's
Kevin. I keep seeing
September 16th, 1983.
November 16th?
September 16th. Another Virgo.
Okay, Kevin, I don't know what this means, but as always, I'm going to tell you what I see. I see you holding a string. And on that string, you're pulling it close to you, okay? And it almost feels like there's flags on each of these, on this string. So it's really interesting. It feels like you're pulling the string up from the depths of something, like, I want to say, out of the water. I want, like, maybe out of the sky. Like, this is what I'm getting. So as you're pulling these strings, each of these flags, okay, it's like these red flags that are hanging off of the string. I don't know if it just seems like this is important. And each of those flags have a word. And I keep getting persistence. Persistent is on one, okay? And then I'm pulling up the next string. It starts with a D. Determination, persistence, determination. I'm pulling out the other string, and I'm stability, something along that line. So, as you're pulling these strings, these are insights, or these are maybe perhaps abilities or qualities that you've allowed yourself to receive throughout this year, or bringing you into that place. I don't know if that makes any sense to you, but
I think,
do you see what I'm saying?
I think it almost feels like you're tapping into the qualities that are already there, because what I keep being shown for 2020 was for Kevin to learn to play. I feel like this was a time for Kevin to
relax and play.
Inner child.
Yeah.
And to be able to learn to have fun, but also to know the sense of nurturing that comes with that connection with the inner child. And I just keep feeling like this is a time for Kevin to remember to play, to spend some time doing stuff that is enjoyed, and not to just get stuck pulling all the other strings of the self, of being determined, of being in control, of being, all those other things that might be characteristics for Kevin, to learn to let go and to embrace that inner child, to learn to play and to have fun, and to know that can be just as an important part of experiencing success in life, and whatever that looks like, is to enjoy the path as well. So this feels like a time for Kevin to remember that inner child, and to remember to have fun, to play with things, and to find a way to integrate that into the determination, into the
persistence,
focus for persistent, right? Exactly. And to learn to marry the two in some way. It's
really interesting, because as you were talking, and I'm I kind of try to go deeper into the vision of what I'm receiving. It does almost feel as though I'm pulling it out instead of water. It's like a mud of some sort, like it's a pulling, and it does feel not that those qualities are difficult, those are inherent. I feel like those are a part of you, but I really, but as you're pulling it, it's just, there's a difficulty in it because it almost feels like it's like you're not wanting to let go of them. Like you're pulling them towards you. Like I can't let go of them. I can't release them. I have to hang on to them. I have to keep them within my inner self. And I feel like Brandon hit it on the head when he said about playing, like it's time to allow. I hope that makes sense to you, Kevin.
Yeah, Kevin said struggling with depression. Depression, that is always a symptom of not, I always find it being, at least in this regards, it's a symptom of not being able to have full control over what's going on and things that are outside of your control, circumstances outside of your control. That, okay, I can't control this. So I think really, Kevin, the biggest message is to learn to surrender to that inner child, learn to surrender to that naivete that comes with the inner child of simply experiencing beyond a sense of understanding. You don't need to understand it to feel it or to go through it or to experience it. So definitely getting in touch with that inner child, I would remain to do that the remainder of this week. I would try to focus on that. And what can you do to play? What can you do to just enjoy the experience without having to catalog or break it down and to understand it in some way? Just going through it and going through the motions. That's enough. Honestly, Kevin, the biggest thing that you're going to become confronted with is something that I was actually speaking of with someone else, is that relationship between the soul and the human self. You know, they are seemingly one, you know, because it looks like, you know, we're just one individual person in this body, but truthfully, you know, your essence, who you truly are, is that soul having a human experience in this lifetime. The human self is going to die. The soul is what will live on. And creating a relationship with that, one of the best ways to do it, and I think Kathy can attest to this, is looking at children and like knowing how children navigate and see the world. There's such a beautiful example of that innocence, that naivete that comes with being a human, and seeing them, you know, letting emotions out as they come without controlling them, letting them, you know, follow a vibe or a feeling or an instinct, you know, and just doing something for the sake of just enjoying it and doing it. That seems to be a really important lesson.
Yeah, and stop putting so much thought around it and just... these flags that I keep seeing, like I said, they're red flags, right? Like they're red flags hanging off of that string.
Oh, that's beautiful.
So
I have to applaud that.
Like it just seems like, you know, letting go with the flow, as Brandon was saying. I think Brandon really hit it. He was able to take that vision and turn it into exactly what it was that I was feeling. And I love that. It's like, just enjoy you. That's what I keep getting. Enjoy you. Enjoy all, like, stop putting yourself into boxes. That's what I kind of feel too. It's like the maybe those were where those red flags were coming from, right? Yeah.
I'd be really interested to see what comes through for you next week, Kevin.
Yeah.
If you come back,
please do.
What's in store for you? Because I think.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think it's going to be my instinct, my hunch is that you're going to embrace a whole new part of yourself that you did not previously have, and it's going to extend to all aspects of your life. I clearly see that. But for now, I think this next week, really try to enjoy yourself. Be like that. It connects back with your inner child. Think back to moments when you were a kid and what you did and how you felt and what you wanted to do. Think of the moments in fun, not the moments you were forced to have responsibility, Kevin.
Right.
Not the moments you were forced on you to be responsible. Don't think of those moments, because I know there were quite a few. Think of the moments where it was just you and your own bliss, your own pleasantness, and the things that you wanted to explore, because I know that you had to grow up very fast. So try and get in touch with those moments. and really embrace them and that innocence and naivete that comes with being a child. There really is what do I want to say? There is a gift in being able to be present in the moments that people don't normally see. There is a connection that happens. It's so hard to explain unless you experience it, but there is just, the path becomes so illuminated when you let go of control. Is kind of what happens. So focus on those moments, Kevin. I think you'll be in for a really beautiful
and thank you for tuning in.
Week.
Thank you so much. I hope to see you next week. That would be great.
If you want to get in touch with me, you can visit me on my website, thedreamteacher.com. Like Kathy said, my little hypnosis stuff is there, but you can listen to it on my YouTube channel here on The Dream Teacher.
Perfect. Thank you. Who is next?
That's it. I think Levity and Lala are gone. They haven't responded in the chat, so Kevin's it. That's the last one.
Thank you so much, Kevin. You're so welcome. It's been an absolute pleasure, and I should really get going. So.
Lala is here.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Lala types.
Okay. Now you. Okay. Well, we'll finish it up with Lala, and then we should get going.
All right. Lala. So this is Josepha.
Okay.
I hope I'm saying that right. January 15th, 1985.
Okay. Lala, why do I see an ocean? An ocean, big, beautiful ocean. I don't know why. There's a lot of, okay. So it's calm and then there's waves. It's like, those, what are they called? The white caps? Like white caps on the ocean?
Right, yeah.
Okay. That's what I don't know why I'm seeing that for you. Or that this has been part of the year. It almost feels like a calmness. Oh, I love water and I love to try. Okay. Because I feel like, Jesus, Lala, I actually almost feel like there was a past life of you in some sort of water, like you were supposed to be on the water, in the water, or something like that. Florida's your favorite place. Okay. I see this water coming through, and then it's almost like it turns into, like, I'm not going to say large waves or anything like that. It just feels like these white caps that are coming through, and it feels like these small, like, like as if a boat kind of, disturbed the water a little bit. And there's a little bit of these white caps. What I feel is like, it's almost like this year you learn to ride the wave. I know that sounds like kind of crazy or whatever, but it just sounds like you've learned to flow with that water. You've learned to, instead of allowing that water to turn into like some sort of freaking tsunami or some sort of massive waves, it's almost as though you've learned a sense of control within your own emotions, your own external process of some sort, where you've taken those waves and you've just literally like went, no, I'm going to, you know what, let's just bring these two into like a white caps, like the white, like the, the little boats, the little boat waves. Like, these aren't big massive waves. I don't need to concentrate on these aren't turning into like a tsunami. These are just literally like little freaking waves that I can ride. I can go with that flow. I can make sense. You know what I mean? Like, this is
to tie it in, anytime that water is being shown, water is always talking about emotions, Josepha. That water and emotions are the same realm. And what I keep being shown, and I think what Kathy's vision here is clearly describing to me, is this has been a year for you to be kinder to yourself and to not choose the giant waves and the storms, and to choose the more simple or not as big emotions. And to just really learn to be kinder to yourself, developing, again, that relationship with the self. It feels like you have such a beautiful view of big pictures or grand schemes, and you can take that and internalize it on yourself, and therefore put all sorts of pressure on yourself to live up to certain standards or expectations, or to conquer the biggest thing, conquer the biggest wave. But like Kathy is seeing, this is the time to ride the chill
Mhm.
waves, the slower, easier little waves. And this is by way of spirit showing me that this was a year for you to be kinder with your own self, to have a better sense of understanding for your own self. Like, okay, you know, I don't have to be on these crazy tsunami waves, you know.
Yeah.
I can just chill and ride on my little, you know, little canoe instead of a oil rig liner or something.
I'm getting this is from coming from other people too. Instead of people bringing in your own, you know, bringing in this drama to you, it's like, no. That's your tsunami. You take care of it. This is your issue, not mine. I'm passing this off, and I don't need to absorb your junk, your crap, all of that. It's like you're putting a wall up, you're putting a block up, and it's almost like literally like you're in your own boat. And you're just going with the flow. You're going the way that you're supposed to go, and you're putting this block up towards what's somebody trying to bring in some sort of chaos or destruction to you. So, and I actually love this process. Sorry, just 1 second. I'm just going to, and I love it that you just said that you grew up near the beach. So that's beautiful, but that's probably maybe, you know, could be why I'm bringing in that scenario too. But it just feels like this year, now that you've learned to go with that flow, you're going to find, you know, and again, we'll get into more predictions next year, but you're really, truly going to find, this theme is going to continue through. So yeah, I hope that's helped.
Be kinder with the self. That was the lesson.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So. Lefty did just come back. Do you want to try and get to it real quick?
Who did?
Lefty.
Sure. Okay.
All right. Let's see if we can connect real quick here. All right. So Lefty is the name, and April 10, 2000.
You're so welcome, Lala. What was the date?
April 10th, 2000. Aries. What was Lefty's major lesson for 2020?
Okay. I'm actually being shown a lion, like the strength card from the tarot. Interesting. There's this connection here, though, with like the Beauty and the Beast, like that inner and that inner strength with that outer beauty, like that outer gentleness. Loved it. I almost feel as though there was this calming of the inner beast in some way. I hope that makes sense. I'm literally being shown that strength card. So I do feel that there was inner strength that you did learn, maybe perhaps even that outer strength, but I almost feel it's like it's more so of the calming of all of this connections as opposed to it being an individual element. It feels
it's so funny you're saying this. It's so funny you're saying that.
Okay.
Because I keep being shown that this was the year for Lefty to learn their own place among the sea of other people.
Yeah.
So it's so funny you're saying that, because Spirit shows me the bond of relationship between connection, community, social places, and where to speak. Now that Lefty is knowing and has come to know where they stand amongst their people, their community, their family, their groups, their friends, whatever, now they have a place to speak from this position. Now they know where they stand.
Right.
That seems to be the biggest message that's coming through for 2020 for Lefty. Is like, okay, now I know where I fit in amidst all these people. Now this is the time for me to speak from this place. That seems to be the biggest thing. You know, sometimes when you don't know where you sit with others, you don't really feel like you have you're like, oh, this isn't my place to say anything. You know what I mean? Like you kind of hold back what you want to say or what you're thinking. But now it feels like Lefty, this year was really the year to know, okay, where do I stand amidst all these people? And, you know, what is this bond, or what are the relationships that I carry with them? So it seems to be very group focused, or group consciousness, and where the individual, the self, stands amidst that group consciousness. So that seems to be the biggest lesson.
It feels like I just keep getting like that calming the beast almost. And it's hard to explain, but yeah, it feels very, I almost feel like at some point there may have been times where you felt very outspoken, but maybe not in the most positive way, or maybe internally you felt like you wanted to say something, you know, but it may not have been where you felt you had that. It's almost like you're transforming that beast into this calmness. And as Brandon said, feeling that connection with others within the community, within like, where do I fit? Where do I go? But now that you've allowed that beast to be calmed, you're starting to see the clearer view. I hope that's helped. Yeah.
It's like that definition has come through now, and now it can be channeled in the right way.
Yeah.
So that's not misunderstood or, you know, taken in the wrong way. And now it's coming from a place of, okay, this is who I am. This is where I am. This is defined. And now you can receive me as I am. And then not to feel bad about it. Because like Kathy said, there may have been some moments of being outspoken and people not taking you in the way that you were trying to come across as. So it's like you've come to understand a sort of community consciousness this year. Very good.
Beautiful energy.
I'm not sure. I'm not sure if Levity heard. Everybody keeps popping in and out. We're going to have to address this in future shows.
Right. Here. Yeah. Just to kind of stay so that it can, you know, be a more flow of energy.
You've graciously given us extra time, so we appreciate it, Kathy.
Oh, you guys are so welcome. And you're very welcome, Levity. I hope that's helped. Everybody, Happy New Year, and enjoy this next week. Allow what is to be released. Allow all of that energy to transform into beauty for your inner, external self. All of this. Allow Spirit to show you those next steps of 2021. And, you know, so much love, so much blessings to all of you. Brendan, anything?
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year, everybody. Just, you know, let's close the chapter on this year. And let's embrace next year with a sense of vindication and renewal. It's definitely time.
Beautiful energy.
Remember, if you have identified with this idea that you just don't fit into this world, it's because you're here to help create a new one. And this next year is going to be the start of that.
I love that energy. So thank you so much, guys. Happy New Year. Take care, and we will see you next week. Okay.
Bye, everybody.
Bye, all.